When my oldest son was 11, he used to make a mad dash to get to the bus, and he'd often forget his coat. How on earth you forget your coat when there's snow up to your knees in Michigan winter is beyond me. Then I'd get a phone call from his principal or teacher lecturing me. How can you send your son to school without a coat? It was humiliating, exasperating, and made me feel totally inadequate as a mother. But now, 10 years later, we live in a warm climate. My youngest son's school is right across the street, and we don't get snow. But somehow, when he forgets his coat, I react as if it were below zero, because that coat has become a trigger for me. And when it gets left behind, it triggers all that humiliation, inadequacy, which is my baggage. It makes me want to blow my top. The trigger is the thing that happens to us today that brings up all those emotions from the past, which is our baggage. Trigger plus baggage is a formula that often equals an anger. Let's say you grew up with a lot of criticism from your dad. He would always find something wrong with you, and that made you believe that no matter what you do, you're not good enough. And so now, all these years later, when someone says something that's even mildly critical, you get triggered. Those feelings of not being good enough start to bubble up, and you totally overreact. The trigger is the criticism you heard today. The baggage is your dad's criticism from childhood. The result, anger. All right, so basically we're all screwed for life. Yeah, if you keep carrying around all the baggage, then anytime you feel criticized, you'll want to chop someone's head off. And when my son forgets his coat, I will always turn into a madman. Recognizing that you have a trigger is the key to recognizing that you need to go back to that original baggage, and you got some healing to do. When you can go back to those emotional roots, address that pain from the original event, release the trapped emotions, and change your perspective, then when the triggers happen again, you won't get triggered. No, I'm not an irresponsible mother just because my son doesn't like wearing a coat. No, it's not that you're not good enough just because your dad likes to find fault in everything you do. Let go of the baggage and you'll start responding differently. Criticism? Okay, interesting to hear your perspective. Forgotten coat? All right, I'll remind him again tomorrow. The triggers will cease to be triggers because you've let go of the baggage. It takes outrageous courage to not get stuck in this trigger baggage anger cycle and to go back and really heal from the emotional root. Stop carrying around all that baggage. Stop letting your past trigger you today. Master your inner world, transform your outer world.